Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our university virtual classroom. So, I'm at the faculty room right now. Okay, and this is one of those rare opportunities where we learn from uh, the lessons that we have in this GE2 classes. So, this afternoon, we'll be So today we'll be discussing uh, a continuation of the lessons about technical writing stuff. Okay, so let's begin. Wait, how do I end here? Okay, so our topic is about the job search, resumes, and cover letters. Let me share this again. There. So this was shared to us by this was taken from SlideShare that night. So if you need some PowerPoint presentations, you can find it there. And if you have very good presentations that you want to share to the world, you can have an account here and upload your slides so that others can use it as well. Okay, it's from Dr. or Mr. NooR. It's an Indian national. Okay, so the job search, resumes, cover letter. So we'll be discussing persuasive resume, cover letter, application, and some tips for the best resume writing practices. But before that, let's test your how employment savvy are you. Okay, so the average employee will have worked at how many jobs over the course of a career? You can just probably guess how many jobs you would have to hop on for the, let's say, 30 years of your professional life. So the answer is 12 to 15. So just can you imagine 12 to 15 different jobs? Like in my case, I've been in UM for 23 years now, but before that, I was able to work at Lakshmi Emporium as a sales marketing personnel, and to Claude's Cafe as a waiter, then here in UM. But even I was in UM, I was transferred to many different types of jobs. So it's like it's like uh, applying to different companies as well. Like I started out as a college professor, then I was transferred to the elementary department. I taught grade 2 pupils. Then I was pulled out and worked as an administrative officer where I did not teach. I was assigned in an office. I was doing clerical jobs and I was supervising 12 STAs or student trainees. Then for some time I was also sent as career guidance officer, where we were able to travel the whole Mindanao to promote the programs of University of Mindanao. So that's like sales personnel traveling around and promoting UM to the high schools. Then I was put back into college again. So these are a range of experiences that you can have within the 30-year period of time. I was able to work in BPOs as well, call centers. I was able to work as an online English teaching company and as a market researcher in 3 BPO companies. So that adds up to something like 7 or 8 companies already. So I also had plans to work abroad, so somehow that might as well be added to my resume later on. Okay, so number 2, have your job terminated ranks in the top 10 of life's most severe crises, having your job terminated. Is it true or false? So the answer is true. For most fathers or husbands, losing a job is one of the most stressful event in your life. So the thought of not being useful for the company, not contributing to the family income, or in reverse, you had even become a liability because you incur a lot of expenses, but you did not contribute on the income of the company of the family. Somehow that's really very stressful. Some men cannot even bear it, that they even commit suicides, especially at this time of the century where we have the pandemic, where a lot of people did not expect to have lost their high paying and so-called secured jobs, but now they were surprised to have lost their jobs at the snap of a finger. And for me, I'm one of those blessed, and I don't call myself lucky. I am blessed to have not being affected by the pandemic since it began in terms of income. So it's just makes me more grateful for this privilege that God is given us. Okay, so but God can take it anytime, So God has the right. He's a sovereign God. He can give and take away even your own health or even your own life at his disposal. So it is not a cause to be proud, but it makes you more humble, realizing that you cannot be proud of anything that you have right now. Okay, so number 3, you are putting together a resume. What format do recruiters generally prefer? So we have 3 types: chronological, functional, and combination. We'll be discussing this as well later in the lesson. But what they prefer most is the chronological arrangement. Okay, next. How many experts in the field of recruiting think that the surest way for a college graduate to find a job today is by searching the internet, networking, sending out hundreds of resumes, or reading the classified ads? So the most effective is networking. We'll be discussing that as well later on. So you begin your job search the way most people do, by looking through the newspapers. What percentage of available opportunities can you find in those ads? Just by looking at the ads, what percentage? So you have 20 to 29%. It's not so much. Okay, so you've heard that networking is a good way to find a job. Who should be on your list of people to contact? So these, let's see, potential employers and professional organizations, family members, friends, neighbors, and associates, school alumni and former instructors, your dentist, doctor, and other service providers, or all of the above? The answer is all of the above. So somehow that gives you an idea of what networking is. It doesn't refer to those money-making companies or schemes, but it refers to connecting with different types of people. So that includes, as you can see the choices here, these are what makes up your network. Okay, so we have employers, professional organizations, family members, friends, neighbors, associates, school alumni, and former instructors. Okay, next, you're now a serious candidate for a job. What percentage of companies will require pre-employment drug testing? The answer is 80% of companies. So if you are into drugs right now, you might as well stop doing that and cleanse yourself of those stuff from your system, because whether you like it or not, it will catch up with you, and somehow your job applications might be affected by it in the future. We see a lot of athletes lost their medals or their belts in boxing because of being positive in drugs. I remember Lance Armstrong. It's one of those famous bikers in the world, but was later found out to have used certain drugs which enhances muscle performance. Okay, and I won't be surprised starting today that when companies would also include health certificates involving COVID testing, so clearance for COVID. So I remember when I applied as a waiter in a restaurant, we were even tested for AIDS, which is somehow I find irrelevant because AIDS you will never have AIDS by touching or by even with droplets from your mouth. So it doesn't work that way. So why do we need to have an AIDS test? Just an additional expenses for the application. But today COVID testing is very relevant and probably a necessity for job application. Okay, you've landed a job interview with a company that has a casual dress code. What should you do? Dress in campus casual attire, dress professionally in a suit, hit a happy medium, or call to ask interviewer. So the best options are the two. You can either dress professionally or you can be just call to ask the interviewer, to be exact. Okay, so now let's move on to the topic, writing a persuasive resume. So first thing we do is preparation. So before you write, you have to prepare. Okay, so you have to research your job market. So what do? You can use newspapers or you can use the internet. Even news items right now are found in the internet. And also you can also use other sources to learn about jobs. You can even find jobs from posts in along the road, or from billboards, or from social media. Like Facebook has this Davao Jobs Market. Like it's designed for jobs available in Davao City, and other cities have that as well. And if you want to go abroad, you can also use like jobstreet.com for Singapore or for Thailand or for the US or other stuff like that. So wherever you want to find that particular job, then go for it. It's just at the tip of your fingers right now. Okay, so what else? You can also analyze your strengths or even your weaknesses. So what will sell you for the job you want? Is it your experience? Is it your expertise in doing something? Is it your education? So analyze your strengths first. Then study other resumes as models. So we can find those stuff in the internet or with books in the library if you want to go to. And you can also experiment with different types of formatting, as there is no hard and fast rules as to how to make resumes. Okay, so you can also include a heading and writing the heading and objective, which is the first one on the list. Okay, so you can list your name, your address, your phone number. You can also include your website or email address. So you can include a career objective for a targeted job. Okay, so you can say like you are a college graduate looking for an entry-level job as a security guard in a security agency. Ano lang. So somehow that gives the employers an idea of what you are capable of doing and at what department would you like to be put. Okay, so next you can discuss your education. So you have to list the name of your degree, date of graduation, but if you're still undergraduate, you can include the number of units earned and from what institution, the name of the school, like University of Mindanao, then the company address, which is Matina Grabahan, Davao City, or you can use Bolton Street, Davao City. Then list your major and the grade point average. So for some companies that would really matter. Okay, give information about your studies, but don't inventory all your courses. So you pick out the courses that you think are relevant to the job that you are applying for, and you can might as well mention them since you did not have much of a work experience. So you can use your education as your selling point. Okay, talk about work experience. You can list your previous jobs. Most of us here have job experiences even before graduating in college. So you can start with the most recent jobs, not the jobs in the past, but the recent jobs going down. Okay, you can include employer's name and the city or the address where it belongs. The dates of employment, so that includes from what day or month in year. Just months and years will do, like July 2015 to what year did you resign or kicked out. Okay, so you can say July 2015 to August of 2018. Okay, and the most significant title that you were able to attain from that company. So it helps also if you embolden the job title, like administrative officer, or entry-level jobs like cashier at Chowking, Bahada. Okay, so we have examples here. So the manager, so that's your position or title. Then the company, fleet equipment. Then the address, Kettering, Ohio, from 603. So that is June 3 to the present. So it's good to have to apply for a new job without resigning from your present job yet. You only resign if you were taken in and you are sure of that. So it's just to be safe. It's really difficult to have gaps in your resume about job applications. Okay, then include, or another example, salesperson, Kmart, Dayton, Ohio, from what date to that date. Tax preparer, volunteer income tax assistance program, from what month? March 2003 to the present. At what company? Sinclair College, Dayton, Ohio. So that should give you an idea. And you can also put in bullets form the specific duties that you were able to do while you were on that job. Even simple things like if you're a waiter, you can include like bussing out soiled dishes and preparing the next table setup for the guest. Or are you into reception area? Do you receive guests and put them on their proper seatings? Then are you what are other jobs? If you're a security guard, were you able to log in or log on your notebook everything that transpired within your assigned area? Or do you submit a weekly report or a monthly report to your superior or other stuff like that? So that helps. Those bullets of job responsibilities and duties can give the prospective employer an idea of what you are capable of. Okay, so also with work experience, here is my point. So use action verbs to summarize achievements and skills relevant to your targeted job, like prepared state and federal tax returns for individuals. So start with a verb. And of course, it should be written in the past tense because you were talking about the past experience. So with incomes under $25,000, conducted interviews with over 50 individuals to elicit data gathering regarding taxes, and you were determined legitimate tax deductions and recorded them accurately. Okay, so what do you notice here? You see the use of the verbs. But if you're still doing that for the moment, like you haven't resigned yet, you can use the present form. Like instead of prepared, you can say prepares state and federal tax returns for individuals, conducts interviews with over 50 individuals, blah 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 blah. You can also include some non-technical skills which could be useful or relevant for the position you're applying for. So you can give evidence of communication, management, and interpersonal skills. So you notice the use of communication skills there. It's really important. How to manage people, how to manage resources. So that's under management. Interpersonal skills, like what kind of a team player are you? I remember last night this week we were into a series of watching Hell's Kitchen by Ramsay, the famous cook, international cook, and they have one of the contestants there were vying for the position of being the chef of a newly opened branch, who doesn't care about the team. And we were so happy last night because she was evicted. We somehow like a dislike of her because she doesn't care about others. All she cares is about her own performance and succeeding in the tasks given them. So it doesn't work that way. Okay, so give evidence of non-technical skills. What are examples of that? Want more than empty assurances. So try to quantify your skills. For example, you are capable of emceeing program. So if you have some of those certificates where you were given a certificate of appreciation for being the host of a particular program, keep it. That serves as an evidence that you were able to conduct those things. Are you capable of what else? Driving a specific vehicle, because driving licenses have codes like 1, 2, 3, 4 depending on the kind of vehicle you are capable of driving. So you might want to include those skills in your resume. Non-technical skills, or you can also mention somehow that you are into particular sports, like you played a particular sport from a team, or you have skills like organizing a program or events organizing. These are very important skills in a company. Okay, so but try to quantify them, not just do assurances, empty assurances. We can organize holiday awards program for example here, organized a holiday awards program for 1,200 attendees and 140 awardees. Were praised by top management for enthusiastic teamwork and achievement. So these are specific achievements. For example, if you're into marketing, you're able to increase the sales of your department from 10 to 20%. That's quantified evidence of achievements. Okay, special skills could also be mentioned, achievements or awards. So you can also highlight your computer skills this time. So these are technical skills. So you cannot just mention that you are computer literate. You have to be more specific. You can mention what specific word processing application are you capable of. Do you know how to do some photo editing stuff? Do you know how to do research, or how to prepare databases and even spreadsheets? So these are very handy skills that you can that might be an edge compared to other applicants. You can also show how you are well-rounded, like you can list awards and extracurricular activities, like sports activities, as I have mentioned, especially if they demonstrate leadership, teamwork, reliability, loyalty, initiative, efficiency, and self-sufficiency. So what do we mean by this? Like, if you are a member of a church group or a religious organization, and you were the leader of that youth group, then you might as well mention that. Or you are one of those barangay officials for the youth, or we call it kabataang barangay officials. Why not? So these are very important skills that show leadership. If you're a member of particular organizations or even civic groups, more importantly, that means you are involved in the community in some other ways. So it shows initiative. You are able to uh, do a program that cleans up the beach areas around you. Include it. Then you can also have some additional tips here. You can omit references unless they are specifically required. So you can just put the last part of your resume that references in open parenthesis form. You can say references available upon request. So, but you have to prepare a reference page that in case they ask, you can put it right away. You can say available upon request. Then you can look for ways to condense your data. So the shorter they are, the more direct to the point, the better. Double check for parallel phrasing or other errors. The next thing is you can also project professionalism and quality. So you avoid personal pronouns like I, he, she, it. You can also omit the humor, so don't put something humorous there. Use a 24-pound paper and a quality printer. So 24, it's a bit thick. It doesn't easily crumple around, so it's quality. You can also use pastel colors as paper. So it's quite presentable to the eye, but at the same time, it doesn't lose its formality and professionalism. Then avoid using funny fonts. So just use either Times New Roman or Arial fonts with the 12 size 12 or 11. So, and always you can also use like some bold lines or sections. You can have different sizes of your letters as long as it helps it become more organized and pleasing to the eye. Okay, you can also have a friend or a colleague to critique your resume, so at least they can give some suggestions or comments about how it appeals for them. Then proofread. So when you say proofread, okay, so proofread. So it could be a very, what do you call this? It, it loses a lot of respect on your resume if ever some errors are found, like misspellings or wrong grammar, for example. So double check your work. So we have here an example of a poor resume. Resume of Jenny Jenkins, the address, objective, an entry-level position where my proven communication, accounting, and administrative skills could be utilized in a path leading to advancement into management eventually. Doesn't look that bad, but how do we improve this better later? Okay, so the degree from San Francisco State University, Broadcast Communication Arts, Bachelor of Arts, 3.2 in major. Experience, duties included, scheduling studios, also recruited staff, some paperwork, often given responsibility to our production manager. Okay, so probably there's not much specific stuff or specific description of jobs. Position for financial manager. What's wrong with this? Probably it did not include the dates and the name of the company. Work for one spring with Renaissance, performing untrue, included, schedule interviews, blah blah blah. So other temporary positions and other stuff. Actually, it's not as bad as you can think, but we can improve this. So look at this. So personal, self-starter, can finish jobs without supervision. Then he included single, health excellent, the religion, the birthday, hobbies, awards, etc. So how do we improve that? So there we have the spacing. So instead of the double space between the name and the address, so they just took out the space there, and it's centered in that way. Then there's a good format included: objective, administrative position involving payroll, accounting, employee benefit, and customer service. So it's more specific. Okay, summary of qualifications: 2 years experience, responsible for administrative accounting positions, disciplined self-starter, able to work without supervision, proficient in PCs including Word, Excel, and Internet. So somehow this took out a lot of necessary words to be included within the resume. Can be counted on to follow through on every detail until a task is successfully completed. So these are the non-technical skills, but somehow this shows more of the character or what you are capable of doing, what you are as a person. Then we include here BA degree, San Francisco State University, and some relevant experience. So specific dates from what month began and what to the present. So the position, the area assigned, the name of the company, and the address of the company. Then some specific duties: as production manager, schedule studios, recruit support staff, to process scripts, permissions, and logs involved in weekly productions. So these are more specific tasks that were included. So somehow this gives the employer an idea of what you are capable of doing. Then here, financial manager, used computer to manage payroll. So you notice here that since this is up to the present, so the verbs used were without D: schedule, recruit, process. So these are present tense. Whereas here, since this is done in the past, 2000 to 2003, the past tense was used in the verb. Okay, used computer to manage payroll, employee benefits for staff of 26. Completed all projects on time despite chronically chaotic environment. It's good. Manage agency's cash flow, process, etc. Design. So you notice they all started with verbs and they ended with the past tense. Then the time here, another what include it would help if you what do you call this, type this in bold letters to separate it from the company name. So public coordinator, the company, then the address of the company, then the specific job duties and the responsibilities. Same. So you begin from the more recent, going back to the late, no, not late, to the oldest experience. Then education, course, name of the school, when did you graduate, and the grade point average. Okay, emphasize keywords for a computer-friendly resume. Nouns that describe traits, skills, and characteristics from job description. Avoid unusual typefaces, underlining, and italics. So it does not say that it's a no-no, but avoid unusual or unnecessary underlining or italics. You can use them to emphasize stuff or to separate stuff from the others, or you want it to catch attention. And you can use 10 to 14 point type fonts. Okay, use smooth white paper, black ink, and quality printing. But as I have said, you can, for variety, you can use pastel colors. Be sure that your name is on the first line. Provide plenty of white space. So as much as possible, don't try to be wordy. Avoid double columns. Don't fold or staple your resume. Put it in a folder with a slider perhaps, or in an envelope to be more protected. Then use abbreviations carefully. Make sure they are understandable. Include all your addresses and telephone numbers to be able to be called in for interviews or to be asked some questions. Be prepared to send your resume in ASCII. So unlike the paper's resume, one will be scanned by a computer, maybe as long as you think necessary. Okay, so this is the format. What turns recruiters off when reading a resume? So these are the things to avoid. Okay, a focus group of 9 experts recruiters gave these individual responses. So what turns them off? Number 1, we have the personal data. That's a major red flag. Also the typos, inconsistent punctuation, and huge paragraphs that don't look like job descriptions. So you notice there that personal data is not necessary, like the name, the religion, the name of parents, the province where you came from, the height, the weight, unless you are applying for security jobs, like you apply as a bouncer in a club. Thus your weight and your height probably would matter. Or if you're applying in a police force, I think they have a minimum requirement for that. But if that's not the case, then you don't need to put in unnecessary personal data. That could be a cause for a ground for discrimination. Like if you're a Muslim, or if you're an Adventist, for example. So that means you don't want to work on Saturdays. So that would be a ground for them not to hire you. So don't give them that. Don't put in that you are, how many kids you have, or even if you are married, because most of the companies would prefer the single ones. So why not give them reasons to discriminate you, right? So don't include that. What's important is the name, the address, phone number, and email, perhaps. So avoid typos, even with capitalization, the use of punctuations like commas or periods. You have to double check your work before submitting it or before printing it. So add sized resumes from services saying presenting the candidacy of, or I don't even read them anymore. They're a major ripoff. So don't start with those lines. What else? Focus group. Okay, resumes that show no research, not looking at the employer's needs. So somehow it's a big help if before you apply to a targeted company, you have to find out first what they are into, like what are the products that they're selling, what kind of services that they offer to their clients, and how you come into the picture, and in what area are you of help to the company. It helps. That's why there was the saying that you have to consider your job interview as your first day on the job. So that means you have to look at yourself as already a part of the company, and by doing so you are aware of the leadership styles in the company, the what the company is into, what kind of company is this. Some people who are applied into BPOs don't even understand how call centers work. What's the difference between a market researcher, an outbound agent, or an inbound agent? You have to be familiar about these things first. You don't even understand the kind of position you are applying into. So that's a big no-no. What else? Omissions in terms of dates and misspellings. Long cover letters and resumes over 2 pages. So remember that. A cover letter should just be single page, and resumes should be not more than 2 pages in that case. Then excess cosmetics, like substituting form for content. A resume should look nice but not go overboard. So that's why don't put like backgrounds or outlines, designs, catchy artistic fonts or different colors instead of using black ink. Um, you might be thinking of putting in some images or cartoons, symbols or pictures or drawings on the sides. So that's a no-no. Okay, a photo. I have to remove them because managers must be color and gender blind. So don't include a photo. Okay, so if you're giving them again reasons for it to discriminate you, like if you're in the US and you're black or Asian, that could alone be a point for discrimination. So don't give them those stuff. Not sending the resume to the right place. You sent it in the wrong department. So it's a big no-no. We're almost done. What do recruiters consider most important? So number 1, the objective, plus the dates when things happened, and the accomplishments. So they want to have proofs of your specific accomplishments. Information about skills that apply to the job, less about job history and past duties. Okay, so what they care about is what kind of skills that you have that are relevant to the existing jobs. Like in my case, if I'm applying for a teaching job, then I would just include my teaching experiences. What's the good of including my waitering experience in a restaurant in my current job application? So it's none. So I might as well just not include that. What else? Valid information in an easy to read, attractive style. So you think about how your resume or application letter looks as a whole. You can ask friends to have their comments on what's their impression on the way your application letters or resume look like. So what do recruiters consider again? The candidate's address and phone number. Lots of people put them only in the cover letter. So you have to include them once again on your resume as well. Okay, realizing that the employer is looking for red flags and making sure they aren't any. So if you have an employment gap, include a clear statement explaining it. Like you're out of job for like 5 years in your list of job experiences. You have to explain now what happened. You were into a business that failed later on, or you were having health problems. So those were possible legitimate reasons for having gaps. For women, for example, they were taking care of children at the time, young children. Now you have the children have grown, and that gave you some space to find a job to add to the family income. So what do recruiters consider most important? Okay, meeting the qualifications for the job. You might as well consider your qualifications first before applying to the job, because it's a competition. The most qualified will have the job. What else? The presentation and the objective. Okay, what else? A clear objective backed up with a qualifying experience and continuity in the work history. So if you are currently working and applying for a higher position that is related to the job that you are making right now, that increases your chance of being hired. Okay, now about writing a persuasive job application letter. You just have to remember three things: the opening, okay, the body, and the ending. Okay, so the opening here is an address the letter to an individual by name. If you don't know the name of the person, it helps if you ask or give them a call, ask the security guards, for example, to whom should I address the cover letter? Okay, who will be interviewing me, or stuff like that. Then for advertised jobs, the name of the source. So I've heard from the news, I've read from the newspaper, I've heard from the radio, I've seen from the television, Channel 5, that you were in need of positions like this. You can also include the job title, the date, and the publication. So if someone referred you, you can mention the name of the person, because some companies give referral fees to those who referred a new client. Like in the BPOs, they gave as much as like 10,000 pesos for one successful referral. So that's a big amount of money. Okay, so what else? If someone referred you, okay, show that your qualifications fit the job. Specifications show your knowledge of the reader's business, or show that your special talents will be an asset to the company. So how are you different from the other applicants? Okay, so in the body, demonstrate that your background and the training meet the job requirements. Okay, so talk about your education and expertise. So that mentions knowledge. Then the training, the specific experience that you have for that particular job. Summarize your principal asset from education, experience, and special skills. Don't have to mention each one of them again, but you can do a short summary. Then avoid repeating specific data from your resume. So as much as possible, uh, that that would be very annoying to have those things repeated during the in the application letter. You can also refer to your resume for guidance. Then in your closing, ask for an interview. That's the main purpose of the application letters. If you weren't asked for an interview, that means your application letter has failed. So ask for an interview. Please have me for an interview, or should you like to discuss my applications and my qualifications further, please contact me for this. Now consider hooking the request to a statement reviewing your strongest points. I would love to discuss these things with you in a job interview. O mga yan. Okay, make it easy to respond. So tell when or where you can be reached. I can be reached at this particular number between 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Okay, or you may please leave a message to my sister who is at home. Her name is Ingani. Okay, some recruiters prefer that you call them instead. So instead of them calling you, you can call them and ask, hello sir, this is Mr. Rodelito Sazon. I would like to follow up on my application as a market researcher in your company. I applied last June 2017 and I still haven't heard about how it was until now. So is that okay with you, sir? Something. Okay, so make it easy for them to respond. So that would be all for today, and tomorrow probably we'll be discussing how to answer job interviews. So this will be our final requirement. You will be writing an application letter and resume. Submit that to me. I'll provide a thread or an activity section for that. Then our final exam would be a job interview. Just 5 to 10 minutes at most, just for you to have that experience of having a job interview. I think most of you have not experienced yet how it is to be interviewed, so at least you would have that kind of experience here before doing it in the real job interview. That would be very beneficial for you, as most of my students who had gone into this subject before can attest that this job interview that I'll be giving them, that I gave them in the past, was a big help for their job applications. Okay, so see you again tomorrow for the next video. Don't forget to click or to type done after watching this, so that I would know who are still active in this class and whom to drop. Okay, so God bless, and see you again for the next video upload. Take care.